This is a brief explanation of the gameplay for the Green Tea Language Learning Project. Just going through the basics of it, it starts with, you can see you've got a choice between having the sound on or you can mute it. And the sound will go, I'm going to actually leave it, I'll turn it back on. You will cycle through all of the,
노트북,
you'll cycle through 10,
남자아이들,
I'll turn it off now. You'll cycle through 10 characters at a time. I'm going to pick some that are wrong actually so you can see how that works. You get the message up there as to whether you got it right or not. And once you've done 10, you're going to be, you'll get an automatically generated bar graph that shows how you did. So this is for each game is 10 questions long, and then there's a separate variable that tracks what your overall count is, and that count will continue to increase until a player hits refresh, and when you close it down,
의자,
the game automatically continues on. Now I'm gonna show you, I'll just show you the code that we have to make that happen. It is basically just this series of divs here. And what we're doing is, you see we have the styling information up here, and this also in the styles we have a bit that makes it, that allows for responsive design, and then we get straight into the JavaScript, and you can see what we're doing is loading up objects. Now these are all sort of flashcard objects, and they are that we're creating for each of the vocabulary words. Each one has its own object with a written form, the audio file, and the picture. These are all then loaded into the flashcard array, and the game starts when reload game is called. You can see that reload game has has 3 other variables. The pick4 is basically a function that goes through and it picks out, it picks 4 cards randomly from the flashcard array up here. Then we go to the shuffle game cards, and that is important because once you've randomly picked the cards, the right answer would always be in the same location if the cards weren't shuffled. So then we go, the next item is the shuffle cards, because you'll notice on the pick4, the first one is the first card picked is going to be the right answer, and then you shuffle it in. You shuffle that array, that new array of 4 cards, in order to then have the cards in randomized order when you populate the game board. Now the populate the game board just takes the 4 objects that have been shuffled up in a new array that is 4 flashcards long, and does just what it says, fills out the game board with them. The next function to be called is going to be check answer, and that happens when the user clicks on one of these, and it checks to see if the user has the right answer or not. If it's the right answer, the correct answer tally goes up 1. If it's the wrong answer, the incorrect answer tally goes up 1. And the correct answer, if it's a right answer, it's added to the variable that we have up here, the total right, so that across more than one game we can keep tabs on how many correct answers a user has, how many questions a user's answered correctly. And just here in this section is what we use for to allow for the volume to be off or on. Just by the way, it only occurred to us that this was necessary because midway through our project, Google changed the way that autoplay works. And if it's not a well-known site, they don't allow autoplay, like YouTube, which they own. They don't allow autoplay to work automatically. So the user has to click a button to allow autoplay to work. So we just use that to our advantage to make a sound off, sound on game, so that users would be able to have it on mute if they want. The final function to be called after the user's got 10 answers is the show results function, which is what generates the bar graph. That calls the script bar2.javascript, and it shows the bar graphs, which show whether your answer is correct, or which shows whether you're relatively how well you've done. And that, in a nutshell, is the way our game works and the main features. Thank you.